Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Interlink webinar. We're excited to have you join us as we dive into the latest features designed to enhance your network experience. At Interlink, we believe in more than just delivering top-tier connectivity. We're committed to building a direct and transparent connection with you, our customers. Today, we'll be showcasing key updates, including advanced BGP communities, enhanced DDoS protection, and new tools that give you greater control over your traffic and security. The session is all about collaboration. We want to hear from you, your thoughts, answer your questions, and ensure that what we have built truly meets your needs. Okay? My name is Christian. Let's get started. Thank you for being here. So this is the agenda for today. We are going to have another update on the latest and future pop editions. This will be covered by me. Then Nicole is going to speak about new portal features and products that we have launched within our portal. And then we've got somebody from our tech team, an engineer, talking about BGP communities in general, but also how you can use BGP communities for automating DDoS protection. And then also we will have time for a Q&A session together with Interlink. So all your questions will be addressed and hopefully also answered either by me or somebody else. Just a quick reminder of what we are doing. We are here to disrupt the network industry. We have a very lean and focused product set of IP services, Flex Ethernet, which is our layer 2 transport service, and on top of that, DDoS protection. We are currently building out our growth phase in Europe. This is where our focus is. At the moment, we've got 34 POPs running. Very soon, we are adding those. This will be covered in a minute, just to give you an overview of where we are located and where our footprint is at the moment. Then I'm going to start with the latest and future pop editions. And this first slide was shown already in the last time. What we have agreed now is the timeline around 4 or 5 weeks. In the future, we will have both locations, Sofia as well as Thessaloniki live. Please remember that those are cities which are at the moment really requested by our customers and prospects. So those locations are specifically for the access to the Asian market, very important, and is adding just another layer of very well connected data centers to our backbone, and therefore additional services, everything that we from our product portfolio can be accessed also there. Some changes about our Stockholm location, what we have already since a few years. So historically grown into Equinix SK2 in Stockholm together with some customers we had in the past. Now that we are in discussion with more global companies and customers of ours, we have understood that maybe Equinix SK2 is not the best place to be within Stockholm. So we have decided to move our POP to Digital Realty. That's nothing new to our existing customers. Everybody is informed, and there will be some time of dually both data centers accessible for our customers to our backbone. However, long term will be that all our services will be moved over to Digital Realty Stockholm. So this is about what's happening in Stockholm. My colleague Nicole is going to start now a dive into the newest features in our portal.
Hi, everyone. We'll be looking at our portal and the newest updates now. And last week we already mentioned Flex Insights. We had 1 alert then live, but since then we added 3 more. So here you can see a video about how you can get there. So once you log in, you go to settings. And on the left side, if you go down, there's the Flex Insights page. So last time we already had the port status changes and added the port errors, port discards, port bandwidth. So the port status change sends you an alert about when the port goes down. Port error, you get a notification if there are error packets noticed. discards. You get a notification when some packets are being discarded. And the bandwidth, you get an alert when you reach 90% of the speed on the port. So you can get informed all about these. What's coming up after is still port light levels and BGP session. So keep an eye out for that. Additionally, we also have some new products. These are different than the previous ones. And I'll be showing a video about this as well. So starting on the dashboard page, so this is also after login. Then you go on add service. It doesn't matter where you're clicked. You'll go to this side and you can see that the cross connect and BGP flow spec product options are new now. So cross connect, this is both of these are requests. So you can send in your request if you'd like these. You have to have a service for this with us. So you have to add the service ID, the location, and add the handover demarc. So now this is just like a test. So just added access, but you need to add a location because otherwise you cannot send a request. And once you send the request, then someone from our sales team will receive a notification. And from that point, we'll reach out and pick up this topic with you. Similarly, regarding BGP flow spec, so here it's even a simpler request. We have a drop-down menu and you can request 10, 25, or 50 routes. Here you can also see the pricing. This is a similar process. You send in the request. And what is BGP flow spec? So this is an additional feature on top of our IP transit. So this can be your first line of defense against DDoS attacks. And this is just a filtering option on the edge of our network. So this filters out traffic based on your settings, even before the harmful traffic would reach your infrastructure. So it doesn't reach your port, your infrastructure, it's filtered on the edge. Yes, there's more to come about this topic later on. We will be also holding a more in-depth dive about what exactly this is in one of our upcoming webinars. And now we would be curious and would like to do a quick poll with everyone because we got a much higher request for this webinar than last time, and we're very curious, how did you hear about us? So we can also know how we can reach you and how we can further support you with the content that we're doing. So my colleague, Scott, will do the poll. Maybe I wasn't seeing it.
We can just go ahead, I think, Nicole.
But if there's no polls, then we're skipping to the technical deep dive with Nick.
Hey, thank you. Not too deep of a dive, I hope. Hello, everyone. I was asked to come and speak to you about DDoS protection and how we can use BGP communities to steer traffic towards our scrubbers. I decided to make the topic a bit wider and to talk about BGP communities in general and how you can use them in the Inter.link network. So if we just go to the next slide, please. So BGP communities, they're optional transitive BGP attributes, which means they are passed on between AS boundaries and they are optional. They give the network operator the ability to tag a prefix and that will be passed along via BGP. And then a receiving router can then make an action based on that tag. So you can think about any kind of routing policy. So depending on which vendor you've got, you might have different options about what you can do in a routing policy, but they all have a similar setup of you can match then on this community, which stops you having to care about specific prefixes as such. So you can tag a prefix, the BGP policy can then say, if your community is 100, then we're going to drop you or AS prepend or any kind of action. In Interlink, we support a handful of well-known communities, which are on the screen here. They are the Graceful Shutdown, No Export, which stops it from being advertised outside of our AS. No Advertise will stop it being advertised past the receiving PE. And then the last two here, which are quite cool, they were a request from a customer quite recently, I believe. So this gives the customer the ability to tag a prefix with one of these two communities, and then you can lower the local preference by 30 or 50. So if you had a couple of IP transit services, for instance, you could pick based on a prefix level what local preference you want us to set on that prefix, rather than being tied down to the AS level. And then I wanted to also just touch on the origin communities that we have configured here. So on the right-hand side, you'll see a little screenshot that I've taken from our looking glass. So we should be sending this out after the webinar. So you can see that we actually set origin communities on ingress for our routes. So when you use this looking glass, you can put in a route and impersonate a PE or a POP and see where these routes are learned. And you can see these communities here, they've actually been named. So they are numbers, but they've been, so it's a PNI, continent, country, and even down to the POP level there. We also use large communities for our signaling and traffic engineering. I have got a separate slide on that in a minute, but the large communities, they are what they sound like. They're a larger community, so I think they're 96 bits. So they're we use it as a 5405, so the global ID, and then we have like a what, which is more of an action, so what to do with it, and then a who being an AS, for instance. And then we also have a special DDoS community, or communities, which I will talk about now. So we have two communities, or 2.5 maybe if you look at the selective RTBH. The first is the redirect community. So that's what I was asked originally to come and talk about. This is what we use instead of statically configuring prefixes to be directed to our scrubbers. There's a few prerequisites for this. So you need an IP transit with Interlink. The customer then needs to activate the BGP community via the session. So this would be done either at ordering, or you can contact the NOC to say if you've got an existing DDoS service at the minute and you want to swap to start using the redirect community, you can just drop us an email or give us a call so that we can permit this for you on the service. And it's very simple. You've got the prefix here, 655.35:700. And when we see this ingressing, we will first check to see that we have this configured and that you're accepted to use this. We will then redirect this towards our Interlink scrubbers. If you haven't configured this prefix in your zone yet, it will just pass through and out through the scrubbers. It won't do any mitigation or checks on it at all. I put a little screenshot there of an example customer route that's been received, where again you can see the origin community set. So 1, 15. So 1 would be the continent, 15 would be the country, 208 would be the city, and then the one in bold there is the redirect community that we're talking about. Slightly different, but still on the topic of DDoS, we have the RTBH community, which is also a well-known community. So that's 666. This is used for global RTBH. This is also advertised towards our upstreams and PNIs as well. We also, if a upstream or other provider supports a different community for that, we will also rewrite this. So if you send this to us and upstream has a different community for that, we will use the correct community for it. And then we also have selective RTBH, so using a similar value set to what we saw in the origin communities here, where we have the continents and countries and cities, you can specify where your RTBH is. I will go on to the next slide and discuss a little bit more about how we set the values here. So I've got a table on the right-hand side, shows how we use it. We use it for signaling here. So this is to show if you send us a prefix, you can attach a community in this format of the large community, and you can do some kind of traffic engineering depending on what you want to do. So some customers may send quite a few of these in with their prefixes if you've got an ASN that you're not interested in advertising to, or a certain geographic location. So there's path prepending, which on the second bullet point there, you can do up to 3 times. So you'll have 1, 2, or 3, depending on whether you want to prepend once, twice, or thrice. And then 9 is what we use as the do not propagate. And then AAA in that example is an ASN. So in the table on the right, you'll see in the remarks there that we've got a set of zeros. So 0 in all of these circumstances pretty much indicates that you want any. So if you have a continent, which is in the scope ID here, means you put in 1 as the first integer. So you're doing 1 to tell it that it's a scope of continent. And in the first example here, because I personally struggle to look at these tables with the R, CC, ZZZ, I need a worked example. You can see that the first community is any continent, and then in the light green here we've got any peer or all peer types, and then prepend once in red, and then the last colon, the last set there is the ASN, so 111. So anywhere we're going to prepend an extra ASN to ASN 111. So you can actually get quite granular with this. You can, a lot of them are additive as well. So you could actually say, in the second example, we're looking at just Spain. Sorry, we're putting 2 for the country. So we're going to tell it. So the community says that it's going to be a country code. The country code is 17 for Spain. It might be 02 for Germany, for instance. And I think we'll share a link after this of the knowledge base that we have. And that's got all of our locations that we're in, all the countries, a list of continents that you can put in there as well. And the PNI, so it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the peer types. So this example is Spain, PNIs do not propagate to all ASNs. So as a customer, you would get a prefix and you'd say, I don't want to advertise this prefix anywhere out of PNIs within Spain. You could change that to be any country. You could change that to be 0 for the peer types, just to say, I don't want to advertise this prefix in Spain at all, for whatever reason that you don't want to involve Spain. I will go through another example of the next one is city. So same principle. First one is 3 to say that we're looking at the scope of a city. We're looking at Milan or Milano, which is 016. So this is 3. So we're in the table there. You can see it's ZZZ. So it's going to look for those 3 digits to categorize the city. And then all peers do not propagate. So this, again, it's a similar example, but just in Milan. So the pop in Milan, we don't want to advertise this prefix out to any ASNs. If we have other pops within Italy, then they would advertise as usual. So you can get quite granular with it. And then the final example down there shows a mimic of the no peer community. So this is all continents, scope of continent, any continent, 9 to say do not advertise this or do not propagate it to upstreams or PNIs, any ASNs. So there's quite a lot you can do there with traffic engineering, just from sending interlink the communities to certain prefixes. And if I revert back to the first slide where I showed you the local preference one as well, you've got the option to do it on a per prefix level for local preferences. You've got telling us to prepend per prefix, and then the restriction of the advertisement on a specific location or peer or any peers. So that alongside the looking glass where you can see where peers are or where a prefix has been advertised, there's actually quite a lot that you can do with these communities, which is hopefully helpful. I know that we have a fair few customers at the minute that do use this, but likewise, there's a handful that don't or aren't aware of it. So we'll link the knowledge base after this. It's got a lot more articulate and long document with examples as well on it, and all of the IDs for each of these to actually start using it. I think we've got another poll, or the first poll potentially lined up next, Christian.
That's correct. Thank you so much, Nick. Much
Okay, no
too
worries.
much too technical for me, but you know this about me already. So we've got another poll for you. We are interested in understanding what you are interested in. So we have a lineup of different products that we think which might be helpful for you guys. But also it is for us very interesting to see what kind of additional topics do you want to cover here in the webinars that we are doing. So is it DDoS protection itself, maybe BGP flow spike as a feature, DDoS detection, which is necessary for some customers as well, to have their DDoS protection product in line with their network, or is it maybe something other? And if so, feel free to drop it here, and then we can take this in the backend and then see what we are going to do. We also have some time now for a Q&A session. So if there's any question, especially about the technical topic that Nick was able to provide, feel free to ask them now. Maybe it's something about our backbone, whatever it is. Scott is taking these questions, and Scott, is there anything already?
So we have one question so far. It says, regarding using the redirect to Scrubbers community, what is the smallest prefix you accept?
Nick, do you know this?
1 second, I can find out. Well, it may be longer than 1 second, but yes, let me have a quick look. Off the top of my head, I do not know.
Yeah, maybe we can switch over to another question if there's already something else.
Yep, another question just came through, and it says, hi, can you please tell us about RPKI validation for black hole / mitigation routes?
Is that something you feel comfortable with, Nick?
Sorry, I was too busy looking at the first question.
No worries. Yeah, so for all the questions, I think if we are not here now able to answer them, we will get back to you with an answer. But maybe about the so I know that it is necessary normally to at least accept a /24, but I know that in the DDoS protection mitigation portal itself, you can also have zones which are smaller than this. So I think there is a smaller IP range that you can actually have as a protected zone and apply a policy to it. I just don't know exactly what's the smallest.
So yeah, with the RPKI validation, we do accept invalid. The invalids are dropped except for RTBH prefixes, so they will be accepted for RTBH. Anything with valid state is accepted. So this is, again, on the knowledge base. So we'll be sending out a link after this that has detailed information of these routing policies as well. So this is all documented there.
All right. Is there anything else?
Yep, another question has just come through, and it says, what about your scrubbing center locations? Can you provide an overview similar to the POP map?
Yes, that's a good question. So when under NDA you are a customer of ours, we can share this with you. So typically it's something we wouldn't provide in a open discussion or in a video which is shared in the internet. So we can have the discussion, not a problem. Also, this is in a growing phase at the moment. So we have multiple scribing centers across Europe, and we will add additional scrubbing centers according to our growth in the region. However, yeah, just feel free to drop us an email or let us know. Yeah, if you want to have a discussion about this, that's not a problem. All right. The second poll came through as I see right now. Thank you very much for this, Scott. We have come to the end already. We just want to share with you what is going to be next. So we want to hear from you topics that you are interested in. So whatever it is, feel free to drop us a message here, or maybe yeah, via a different channel, let us know what you want to hear from us. And then for the session, which is scheduled already for April, we've got our head of network and infrastructure, Stefan Funke, who's going to talk about FlowSpec feature, how we use it, or how customers can use it. And accordingly, we'll do a demonstration of it. So really looking forward to those. Yeah, feel free to sign up. We are really looking forward to see you guys again. Thank you very much for attending this one. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.